Hello Exceptionals! Happy Thursday. I hope you are flying. I hope you are humming along and that you are enjoying the beginning of 2020. Again, like most Australians, it feels somewhat awkward to say that given what so many people are going through with the bushfires at the moment. So if that is you, our hearts, our thoughts, our prayers, our love are going to you at this time. If you are watching this because you are determined to make 2020 the best year of your life, today is all about your exceptional social life. So far we have covered off, I better bring what we've done so far. So far we've covered off your exceptional life purpose and your exceptional movement. Now remember, when we create an exceptional life purpose in 2020, we're inspired. If we don't, the consequences are regret. Now these are consequences for life. Movement gives us vitality, which we covered off yesterday. 42% of all dementia would go away if we were active 30 minutes a day. So dementia or demented is the major consequence of mediocre movement. So today we're looking at social. Now when we are exceptional in our social lives, we feel engaged, we feel connected, we feel we love our community, we love our friends. This is what today's video is all about. We're looking at social anxiety. I've got a few ideas about how to reduce social anxiety. We're looking at your peer group, the people you spend the most time with, but more than anything, how you can create fulfillment and engagement in your 2020. And the major consequence is depression. Depression is loneliness, social isolation. Biggest symptom of that is depression. And so if I can do my little bit in helping you prevent depression and at the same time create engagement, then that is a good thing. The big thing is that I'm writing the social chapter in my book at the moment. And so I have got so much social content in my mind at the moment. So I just want to give you a preface more than anything that today really is about sowing seeds. I'm going to almost overbake the content in this video because it's coming through me so much at the moment. So I don't want to apologize, but you're going to get a somewhat of a skim, but hopefully a skim of really good stuff. And then there are so many ways, so many things that I do and others do to dig deeper. But let's get into the heart of the matter. And the first thing is, as I attempt to take the lid off the texter, is to have a look at the excuses around social life. Because again, you may know that I go to this little Greek island every year called Ikaria. It's known as the island where people forget to die. And they have mastered their social life. They know they don't have excuses around their social life. And in Australia, in the West, we are full of them. So what's the big one? I'd like to spend more time with my friends, but I don't have time. And what do we think is one of the biggest things that take up our time? Our work life. And if it's not our work life, it's our family life. And family life is a social engagement. That is a wonderful thing. And so is work. But I think we'd all agree, social life is different. It is just different. It's different to family time. It's different to work time. Families can catch up and that can be social time. I know for me personally, one of my favorite things to do as a family is to catch up with other families. Normally one family at a time, because then you get quality time with that family. You get to know the parents, you get to know the kids. I love that stuff. And I love seeing our kids engage with other kids and the rest. You can do the same with work, but really it's got to be outside of work hours. And lunch can be outside of work hours. Breakfast outside of work hours when you're talking about non-work things. Some of the research coming out around friendship, and we'll talk about this in a moment, but let me just dive into it right now. As you see, I've got a lot to share here, is the hours it takes to create a genuine friendship. The minimum to create a casual friendship, to go from an acquaintance to what you would just call a casual friend, is 50 hours. 50 hours of quality time. That's 51 hour coffee dates. But it could also be spending 2 or 3 days a weekend together with a family. 50 hours for a casual friend. Then it goes up to 80 hours for what we would call a genuine, or 80 to 90 hours for a genuine close friend, where you feel that you can actually tell them stuff. But not so much that you're going to tell them the best, biggest stuff. And then 200 hours for a confidant or a really close friend. 200 hours of quality time. Again, that's not 4 weeks of work. That is quality time. That's non-work time. That's non-family time. And so many of us say, I just don't have the time. And the consequences of that limiting belief, that mantra, are depression, social isolation, loneliness. I'll put some of them down here. Loneliness. Now, I'm no mental health guru, but I've read enough of the research to know that mental health a lot of the mental health, again, not all of it, but a lot of the mental health challenges that people are having is linked to a mediocre social life. They don't feel like they've got friends that they can trust. They don't feel like they can be themselves in their workplace, even around their family. But there's a lot to suggest that mental health and this social area of life is a big link. And then again, as I've said, depression has its roots, again, not all depression, but a lot of depression has its roots in social isolation. Now, I'll come back to social anxiety towards the end of the video, but obviously there's a big link to that as well. So what have we replaced, what have we replaced our, again, in the good old days when social lives were a lot more active, and again, I don't want to draw too much on my time in Ikaria because it sends me on a warp of just banging on, but what are we doing instead? And again, you might probably already tell what I'm going to put in here because you can see the beginnings. We now spend so much of our time on social media or on Netflix, which, to be frank, have 150 million global subscribers. So I'm not talking about some random thing. And social media with its 4 or 5 billion active users, we're not talking about random stuff. This has become an everyday part of society. And when things become an everyday part of society, they become a socially acceptable part of society. And so now we have all types of socially acceptable ways to spend time on social media and Netflix, and that is taking away our quality time with our peer group, with our friends. And so I just want you to assess your life right now. Are you spending too much time at work? Are you spending, I can say this, are you spending so much time with family that you're not making time for friends? Now, I want to give you permission. You can take a couple of hours away from family time to go and spend time with friends. Or if it's a family to family social time, you've got to make that a priority. Socializing requires leadership. I've got so many corny one-liners around socializing, but socializing does require initiative. It does require leadership. You are not going to get a call to say, do you want to be my friend? It just doesn't happen. You've got to make those calls these days. That's just the way it is. But you must give yourself permission to make it an active part of your life. If you don't, you will have what Bronnie Ware outlines in her incredible book, The Top 5 Regrets of the Dying. You will have a regret that you lost contact with your friends. You don't want to get to the end of your life and go, I wish I made more time for my friends. That's not what we want. So look at your life right now in 2020, early January. Who do you spend the most time with? Because this is our peer group right here, the top 5 people. We are the average of the 5 people we spend the most time with. So who do you spend the most time with? If you want to complicate it, because I know some people want to, you might want to do this for your personal life and your professional life, depending on on your lifestyle. I know if Sarah, my beautiful wife, was doing this, she would have Spencer. She spends more time with Spencer than any other child because he's 6 months old. Spencer, and then probably Tommy, who's 3.5, Darby, Maya, and then I would be number 5. That is her life right now. Your peer group is a reflection of your life, but really, Tony Robbins one-liner, pretty sure it was Tony Robbins, you become who you hang around. So then my addition is, who are you hanging around? Put them in here. If I looked at my personal life, it would be those. It would be, in no particular order, Sarah, Spencer, and you can do this now, write it down as I am right now, Tommy, Darby, and Maya. Now, if I had a professional life list, it's a different list. Who do I spend my time in my 9 to 5 waking hours? But for personal life, and I really think personal life is the more important one, who do you spend your time with? And then here is literally the most, or the second most. I think forgiveness is the most difficult exercise in personal growth, but your peer group and up-leveling, changing your peer group, improving your peer group is probably the second most difficult challenge. And this may be one of the most important goals you set for 2020. I want you to give each person a tick or a cross in terms of how exceptional they make you feel. They're a tick if they make you feel like your most exceptional self, and they are a cross if they make you feel like your most mediocre self. Now, but we're here. If people are challenging you in a really strong and good, empowering way, they get a tick. But if they are really toxic in your life and they are telling you that you can't do things and they are dragging you to McDonald's when all you want to do is just eat well, and they are making sure that you drink alcohol when you're just trying to give up alcohol in 2020 or whatever it is, you want to give the people that are disempowering in your life a cross. So I'm fortunate, but I work on it. everyone here gets a tick. But if you have a cross on your 5, and when I do this with people, often everyone has at least 1 cross, and sometimes 2 and maybe 3. But I want, there's no halves, there's no half ticks, half crosses, there's sometimes nice. No, this is a person that you know in your heart and soul brings you either an exceptional life, closer to an exceptional life, or ingrains more mediocrity in you. Give them a tick or a cross, and then your goal is to replace that person. And I don't mean to sound so mercantile and so brutal, but your goal is to replace. And I've got some pretty strong ideas on how to replace, but it essentially you do it by becoming more social. Spending time where you love to be. I go to a cafe every morning. It's a social experience. Do you have a ritual around cafes? If you love coffee, go to a cafe. You'll get to know the regulars. It's a wonderful thing. Maybe you want to go to yoga. Maybe you want to go to meditation class. Maybe you want to go and study French, or you want to learn an instrument. Go to places where you want to be, particularly if you align them with growth or movement. Growth, movement, and nutrition are probably 3 really great ways, but growth and movement, because they're more, I just think they're cool. They are ways to meet and make good friends. You might, if you're older, the U3A, great learning place. If you've always wanted to sing in an orchestra, I interviewed a 99-year-old war vet, Bruce Robertson, yesterday. He still sings in the choir. He was playing cricket up until his 70s. He does aqua aerobics once a week. These are the ways that get your social life active. Movement and growth are great ways to foster exceptional social relationships. So that's probably the biggest one, but I want to address this before we wrap it up. Social anxiety. When I run events and we get into the big, deep and meaningfuls, I find so many people, more people than I expect, have a real challenge around social anxiety. And so this is where I want to set you a challenge. If you know that you are someone that really feels this, is I don't know your circumstances, but here's what I do know. Consumption to the news will raise your cortisol levels, not just for you, for everyone. And at the moment in Australia, the news that we are consuming is disaster. It's environmental disaster. But also in our bodies, it can be creating physical disaster. The cortisol levels increase our anxiety levels, make it harder to go to sleep, and I could just go on and on. But on a deeper level, news dampens your spirit. It makes you feel powerless. How many tweets have I seen about, I feel so powerless about the fires? And everyone's trying to be more powerful. I want to go and, well, obviously there's contributing money. I want to go and help out at the shelters I'm seeing. For us, our family, we just got busy getting all of Maya's old childhood clothes because Spencer was a boy. We now get rid of all of the children's clothes, and we had a mum who had a family who lost their house, and she was driving down to help them. So she took down all of Maya's clothes. But you want to be really clear. If you find yourself with social anxiety and the news has a major impact on those levels of anxiety, then I'm highly recommending that if you don't eliminate, that you heavily reduce and you ritualize it. Like for me, I only check fire stuff at night, and it's for about 10 minutes. And even then I'm like, all right, I'm done, because it doesn't harbor many empowering feelings. The ones that I love are all of the people that are donating time and money and effort and energy, but you don't need to see fires burning more than, once you've seen them burning, you know they're burning. How much do you really need to ingrain that? What are you watching on Netflix? Are you being empowered on Netflix, or are you watching movies that only ingrain inferiority complexes, limiting beliefs, mantras like I'm not good enough, I'm ugly, I'm fat, I'm terrible, whatever? And same with social media, probably linked to the fires, but are you feeling so inadequate because of that? Because of your news feed, your social media feed? That's going to have an impact on the way you carry yourself in society. All right, so I want you to really look at it. I want to talk about community, but I'm not going to get an opportunity to. All I'm going to say is that community, in its word origin, communitas, is public spirit. What is the public spirit of where you live? If you don't love the public spirit of where you live, I highly recommend moving to a community where you love to live. All right, I'm going to leave you with that. Again, I've skimmed. If you want to go deeper, come and join me in Byron Bay. You create your exceptional life, not just your 2020, but your exceptional life. We do it for 2 days, May 16 and 17. Go to marcuspearce.com.au/Byron Bay. And if you want all these videos, this is video 4 of 10. Go to marcuspearce.com.au/2020, and I'll send you all 10 videos. All right, I'm going to love you and leave you before the time runs out. Continue to live your exceptional life. May the rest of your life be the best of your life. Big love to you. Bye for now.